Hello beautiful people, my name is Chinazo Victory and you're welcome back to Nazi Styles YouTube channel. In this video, you're going to learn how to cut and sew this stylish V-shaped design cowl bubu kaftan with velvet bias details. If you love sewing tutorials like this, why not keep watching and make sure you watch this video to the end. Let's get right into the video. These are the fabrics I'll be making use of. So here I have 6 yards of this beautiful Ankara fabric. I'll also be making use of this bias strip. This is a velvet bias strip, okay, and it is the 1-inch bias strip. And this other fabric is a chantilly lace. I'll be making use of it for the design in front of this dress. When you open the Ankara fabric, you're going to be folding it this way. Okay, you look for this part of the Ankara fabric that has a right top. Okay, the part that has that black color, black line color, you're going to be folding it into 2 this way. When you fold into 2, you mark out 1-inch borderline. Then from the borderline, mark out the length of the dress, your desired length of dress, and also the hem allowance. You cut out that one, then you use it to cut out another one. It will give you 2 folds this way. I hope you understand. So one fold is for the front and the other fold is for the back. So you come down from the top of the Ankara fabric by 1 inch, which is the borderline, and it's going to be serving as the starting point and the shoulder line as well. All vertical measurement will be taken from that line. So starting from the folded part of the fabric, I'm going to be taking the neck width of 4 inches. Okay, then from the folded part of the fabric again, I'm going to measure and mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8. My shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So from that shoulder mark, I'm going to be taking the sleeve length. Okay, and my sleeve length is 13 inches. I'm going to be marking it at that point. So let me take it again. This is the neck width, and from the folded part I measured the shoulder divided by 2, and then from that shoulder mark I measured and marked my sleeve length. So from the sleeve length mark at that point, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope, and I'll connect that 1.5 inches to my neck width. From the shoulder slope, I'm going to be marking the sleeve opening. This is how opened I want the sleeve to be. Okay, how much wideness you want around the sleeve, and I'll be making use of 10 inches for mine, so that by the time I take in 1 inch for the same allowance, I'll be having 9 inches left. Okay, so remember this 10 inches mark is starting from the shoulder slope. Then I'll use my ruler to extend the 10 inches line this way. That is my sleeve opening line. The next thing I'll do now is to check the measurement I have from the folded parts of the fabric to where I marked the sleeve length. So here I have about 21.6 inches. I'm going to be marking that same figure on top of this sleeve opening line. Okay, I'll mark 21.6 inches there, so that I can connect the 2 marks using a straight ruler. This is just to get a straight line around there. For the back neck depth, I'm going to be making use of 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. So I'll go ahead and mark that and use my free hand and curve out the neckline. For the front neck depth, I'll be making use of the same 4 inches I used as the neck width. Okay, so I'll just mark the 4 inches, then I'll curve it out and connect to the neck width. From the borderline, I'm going to measure and mark 35 inches, and 35 inches is about 5 inches above my knee line, okay, my shoulder to knee line. So I'll be making use of 35 inches here because that's where I want the cowl effect to start from. Okay, so I'll mark out 35 inches and connect the marks using my straight ruler. From the borderline again, I'm going to measure to confirm the length of my dress, and I'll be making use of 60 inches for this dress. Okay, here I have the 60 inches and 1.5 inches for the hem allowance. On this knee line, I'm going to be making use of the biggest part of my body measurement, which is my hip circumference. So starting from the folded part of the fabric, I'm going to measure and mark my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra inches plus extra 1 inch for seam allowance, and that will give me 17.5 inches. So I'll be marking 17.5 inches here. So if you don't want too much ease around here, you can add extra 2 inches ease to your quarter of your hip circumference. Okay, I don't want it to be too slim towards the down part, but if you want yours to appear exactly the way it is on the thumbnail, you can add just 2 inches to a quarter of your hip circumference before adding the 1 inch for seam allowance. So any figure you mark on the knee line, you're going to be marking exactly the same figure on the hem of the dress. Okay, you'll mark it at the hem and on the length line as well. Then I'll proceed to connect the mark on the hem and the mark on the knee line using my straight ruler. I'll come over to this sleeve opening line. Starting from that point, I'm going to be coming in by 2 inches and I'll mark it there. Now I'll be connecting this 2 inches mark to the mark on the knee line. This time around, this is where you're going to be creating the cowl effect the way you want it. If you want it very curvy, this is the time to do that, and if you want it straight, this is the time to be creative around that. So for me, I wouldn't want mine to be too curvy. I'll just use my free hand to do a very slight curve around there. Starting from the mark on the knee line, I will do a slight curve to meet that the mark on the sleeve opening line this way. Okay, coming back to this sleeve opening line, I'm going to be reshaping the sleeve opening line. I'll simply come in by 1 inch. Okay, I'll come in by 1 inch and then connect this 1 inch back to the shoulder slope. Then at this armhole area, I'm going to be placing a very little nice curve around there. The next thing I will do right now is to add 0.5 inch to the shoulder slope. Now I'm adding this to the shoulder slope and not to the borderline. From the shoulder slope straight down to the neck width, I'll be adding 0.5 inch. Then I'll connect all the marks with my straight ruler. This 0.5 inch is for the shoulder joining allowance. So it's time to cut out, and as usual, I'm going to be cutting out the back neckline first. Then I'll cut through the shoulder slope. Remember, I added 0.5 inch seam allowance using the red chalk. So I'll be cutting through that allowance that I added. I'll cut through the new sleeve opening mark. Remember, I reshaped it. Then I'll cut through the side and down to the hem. After which, I will separate it from the front and then cut out the front neckline separately. So I would love this dress to have an inner pocket. So before I proceed to cut out the front neckline, I'll first of all mark where I want the pocket to start from. So I'll place my tape rule on the shoulder line, and I'm going to be using my eye gauge to get to where 18 inches is. So that's where I'm going to be notching. So I'll place a needle notch at that 18 inches. That's where my pockets will be starting from. Okay. I'll then come over and lift up the front bodies to set these back bodies aside. I'll then proceed to cut out the front neckline. I've set the back bodies aside. I'll first of all work on these front bodies. So here is the chantilly lace I'll be using for the V-shaped design in front of the front bodies. Okay, so and the measurement of this chantilly lace I have here is, it's about 11 inches and 23 inches on fold. Okay, when you place the chantilly lace on fold, you measure 11 inches by 23 inches. Now if you want the lace in front to be longer at the center front, you can increase the length to either 24 or 25 inches. So now I'm going to be placing it this way. I'll be placing it this way, then I'll come in with the front part of the dress. I'll place it on top of it this way. I'll make sure that the folded side aligns with that of the lace. The folded part of the lace will align with the folded parts of the front bodies. I'll also ensure that I have a little space around the shoulder. I have a little space of the lace around the shoulder area. So when I'm done arranging it, you can pin down if you like. After arranging, the next thing I'm going to do is to pick up my scissors and trace out the neckline and the shoulder area. After that, I will lift up the front bodies. Now I'm going to determine how long I want the lace to be at the center front, okay, and how much wideness I want around the shoulder. For me, I want the shoulder part to be about 5 inches. Remember, I will still be turning the neckline with 0.5 inch, and I want to be left with about 4.5 inches at the end of the day. So from the neckline, I'm going to be marking 5 inches. Okay. I will then place my tape rule on top of that 5 inches mark and slant it towards the folded part of the lace to give me about 21 inches. So I want it to be at that 21 inches mark. That's where I want the V shape to be. Now if you want your own to be longer, you can slant it to get 24 inches or 23 inches, anything above the 21 inches I marked here. But for me, I think this 21 inches, it's okay for me. Now the next thing I'll do is to bring in my straight ruler and connect these two marks together to give me a very sharp V. I will then proceed to cut it out carefully. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please, this is the best time to do that, and God bless you as you do so. So I have placed the lace on top of the front part of the bubu, and please ensure that the wrong side of the lace is placed on top of the right side of this bubu. As you can see, the right side of the lace is facing me, is facing up, while the wrong side of the lace is the one that is touching, is on top of the right side of this Bubu, and ensure that the V point, the V shape point is exactly at the center front of the dress. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is either take it to my sewing machine and top stitch on top of it, round the shape, round the V shape, or you can make use of your hemming gum to do that, or even this fabric gum, any type of fabric gum at all. You can use it to just gum it round the edges to hold it together with the fabric. After that, I'll come in with the velvet bias tape. Then I'm going to be placing it on one side of the V shape this way. I'm going to place it this way and arrange it very well. Then I'll be cutting out this particular one at the V point. Okay, just watch carefully to see how I'm going to do it. When I place it this way, I'll come in with my scissors and cut it out at that V shape point. Then I'll come over to the other side of the V shape and place the velvet bias as well. This time around, I'm going to be placing it in such a way that it will cover the other one at the V point. Then I'll continue placing it straight on top of that center front. Make sure that your center front line is visible. Use an iron to make it very visible so that it will be easy for you to place this bias tape. So I'll keep placing this particular one down to the hem. After that, you can either use your hemming gum or make use of your fabric gum to hold it down on the fabric first before going to your sewing machine to sew it. So I'll be making use of my fabric gum to hold it down first. After that, this is what it should look like, and this is looking so beautiful already. Our dress is coming together gradually. So now I'll take this to my sewing machine. I am going to be top stitching on top of this velvet bias on both sides of the bias tape. I will carefully do that for both sides of the V shape down to the hem. Okay, after that, I placed the front bodice on fold this way, and I used it to cut out another piece of fabric, which is the facing, which I'll be using to turn the neckline. I'll use it to finish up the neckline. Okay, when you place it on fold this way, you just trace out the neckline and some parts of the shoulder. I traced out about 5 inches at the shoulder and 5 inches down the neckline, and I connected it. Okay, I'm going to be using this little piece to turn the neckline. I'll place it right side facing each other this way, making sure that the neckline area and the shoulder area aligns properly. I'll make use of my pins to hold it down before I start sewing, and then I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew on that the neckline. I'll sew using 0.5 inch to turn it, after which I will notch it round and top stitch on top of it. I'm going to do that and show you. I've repeated the same process for the back bodies. I've cut out a little facing for the back as well, and I'll be using it to turn the back neckline. I did it the same way I did for the front. You get your back bodies, place it on fold, then you place it on top of another fabric. Use it to cut out a little piece, trace out a little portion of the shoulder area and a little part of the center back, and connect the two marks together. So I have about 5 inches at the shoulder area and 5 inches below the neckline. I'm going to be placing it right side facing each other like I did for the front. I'll also take it to my sewing machine and sew it using 0.5 inch to turn the neckline. Then I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. After that, I'll place the front and the back bodies right side facing each other this way, and I'm going to be sewing the shoulder. And for me to do that and sew it neatly, I'll first of all place the back facing and the wrong facing right side facing each other, while I match the right shoulder, the front shoulder and the back shoulder right side facing each other. You see, facing to facing and shoulder to shoulder this way. So when I'm sewing the shoulder, I'm going to start sewing from the facing. If you do it this way, the shoulder area will appear very neat, unlike when you join it the other way. So I'll start sewing from that facing, then I will sew till I get to the end of the shoulder towards the sleeve opening this way. I will sew 0.5 inch on both sides of the shoulder. If my explanation is not so clear, please do let me know in the comment section. I'm going to respond to all the questions. So this is the way it should look after joining the shoulder. Okay, now I'm going to open up the facing this way. You see how it should look. If your own is not looking like this, please go back and watch that part again to understand what I explained. You're going to arrange the facing like this. This is the wrong side of the dress. You're going to arrange it very well. Use your iron to give it a very nice press. After that, I'll come in with my hemming gum. I'm going to use it to gum the facing to the body of the dress so that it will not be coming out of the dress when you wear it. Okay, I will use the hemming gum to hold it down. I'll make use of my iron to gum it on top of that dress. This will give you a very neat and nice finishing. You see how smooth and very neat the shoulder area is. This is exactly what I was trying to achieve, and I have achieved that. The next step is to fix the band to the sleeve. Okay, so I cut out a band to fix on this sleeve, but if you don't want yours to have a band, you can go ahead and fold in 1/2 inch twice and hem your sleeve. But I already prepared a band for this sleeve. Okay, I have 2 inches on fold by the length of the sleeve opening. Then I used my gum like I did at the beginning. I used my gum to hold the lace and the fabric together so that the sleeve band will also have that part of the lace. I hope you understand. This is 2 inches on fold. When you open it, you have 4 inches. I will now place the band on the sleeve opening right side facing each other. I will take it to my sewing machine and sew it using 0.5 inch. I'll move to the other side of the sleeve opening and sew the second band as well. Then I'll come back for the next step. After stitching the band to the sleeve opening, this is what it should look like. See how beautiful the dress is looking already. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and attach the pockets. I cut out 4 pieces of fabric for the inner pocket, and the measurement is 10 inches by 9 inches. Okay, I have 4 pieces here because 2 will be for the front side and 2 will be for the back. Then when I'm closing the side, I will show you how to sew the pocket. I'll locate the notch I placed for the pocket while I was drafting. So I'm going to be placing 1 piece of the pocket starting from that notch. I'll use my pin to hold it down, and I'm placing this pocket piece right side facing each other, right side facing the right side of the dress. As I've placed one on one side of the front, I'll place one on the other side as well. I will do the same thing for the back. At the end of the day, we have 4 pieces. Okay, I will do that and then show you how to go about the joining. To join the sides, I've placed the front and the back right side facing each other, and I've aligned the pocket pieces at the side. I made use of my pins to hold it down at the necessary points. So I'm going to start sewing from this sleeve opening. I'll sew 1 inch. Then when I get to the pocket area, I'm going to corner on my machine. I'll corner this way, and then I'll sew the pocket piece round it. Okay, I'll sew it round and then come out on the other side and continue sewing 1 inch before I get to the hem. But then again, remember that this dress is going to be having a side slit, so I will show you how to measure and mark the side slits. So starting from the hem of the dress, I'm going to mark the hem allowance, which is 1.5 inches, and from that hem allowance I'll then determine how open I want the side to be, how much slit I want there. For me, I'm making use of 15 inches. So if you want yours to be more open by the side, you can go up by like 16 or 17 inches, even up to 18 inches, depending on what you want. Then I'll also mark the same thing on the other side, so that when I am joining this side, when I get to that point where I want the slit to start from, I will reinforce and stop there. So now I've gone ahead to iron out the side seam allowance. Okay, and I've ironed the hem as well. See how neat everything is looking. Look at the side slits I left. Okay, look at the other part. I've ironed every corner of the side slit and also the hem. Now the next thing I'm going to do now, you have two options here. You can either take this to your sewing machine and sew it down, round it, or you have the option of using a hemming gum to close it up. I think I prefer the hemming gum, so I'll be making use of my hemming gum to close it up. So after doing that, the dress is ready. The beautiful Bubu is ready to be worn to any occasion. See how neat and beautiful it looks. Your own should be neater than this. Okay, please do wait to send me pictures as well when you recreate this. So my beautiful people, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If this video was helpful to you, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, drop a very nice comment below please, and also share this video to your friends and your loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me. See you in my next video. Bye.